velvet tulip project to its finish line. We've poured hours into that lush, red flower head, and today we complete the anatomy of our piece. Before we pick up our hooks, we need to address a question I get asked all the time. How do you choose the right yarn for a structure this big? This is a crucial step that determines whether your finished tulip looks like a high-end decor piece or a sagging toy. Choosing your velvet chenille yarn. When you are working with giant plushies, the yarn is your primary material, and not all velvet yarns are created equal. First, check the core thread. Look at the center of your yarn. Is it a strong, braided cord? That's what you want for the stem and leaves. If the core looks like a thin, singular strand of thread, it might be too fragile for a stem that needs to hold weight. Second, look at the fuzz density. A good velvet yarn should look solid when you bunch it up in your hand. If you can see gaps between the fibers, yours will look sparse and bald. I highly recommend using a heavyweight or super bulky category yarn. Stick to one brand for the entire project if you can, because different manufacturers have different twist levels in their yarn. Even if the labels say they are the same size, mixing brands can result in inconsistent tension. Lastly, color harmony. For this tulip, we are using a deep forest green for the stem and leaves. Why? Because the red of our flower is a warm, bold color. A bright grass green might look a bit juvenile. A deep forest green or an olive-toned green provides an elegant, earthy contrast that makes the red pop. Think of it like a painting. You want the colors to balance each other. Once you have your consistent, high-density velvet yarn in that perfect shade, you are ready to begin the structural work. Section 1, the engineering of the stem, extended and detailed. Now let's get into the heart of the structure, the stem. A giant needs a giant skeleton. If you just took a long tube of velvet yarn, it will inevitably flop over under the weight of that heavy, plush-stuffed flower head. We need a spine, and we need it to be perfectly centered. I am using a 4mm thick plastic-coated floral wire, roughly 35 to 40 centimeters long. Before we even touch the yarn, prepare your wire. Use thick duct tape or electrical tape to wrap both ends of the wire at least 3 or 4 times. This isn't just about safety, it's about cushioning. A sharp wire end will eventually pierce the yarn and poke you or scratch your furniture. By creating a rounded taped end, you are creating a cap that protects the structural integrity of your yarn for years to come. Now for the crochet, we are using our forest green velvet yarn. Velvet absorbs light, meaning your stitches will hide in the shadows, which can make it hard to see where the next loop is. This is why I use a slightly smaller hook here, an 8mm hook, even though the yarn might suggest a 10mm. Why? Because we want a tight gauge. A tight gauge means small gaps, which is essential because we are stuffing this stem. Start with a magic ring of 6 single crochets. From here, we work in a continuous spiral. Every single round, I want you to count, do not guess. Counting is the difference between a cylinder that is straight and one that twists into a spiral. If your stem starts to look like a candy cane, you've accidentally increased. If it looks like it's pinching, you've accidentally decreased. Keep it consistent. As you reach the 5 cm mark, stop. It's time to insert our skeleton. Gently slide your taped wire into the center of your green tube. From here on, the mechanics change. You will be crocheting around the wire. This is a bit awkward at first. The wire will want to poke you in the hand and slip out of the tubes, but keep it steady. As you add each new round of single crochets, you need to push a little bit of polyester stuffing between the wire and the inner wall of your green tube. Do not just stuff the top, stuff it as you grow. This is the secret to a professional stem. It shouldn't be hollow and it shouldn't be soft. It should feel firm, solid, and structural like a branch, not a balloon. If you feel the stem is too thin, don't just pull the yarn, add another round of single crochets to increase the circumference, or switch to a slightly larger hook for a few rows. You want the stem to be proportional to the flower head. A giant flower on a tiny, toothpick-like stem will look unbalanced. Spend your time here, get the tension right, feel the weight of the wire inside the yarn. Once you have built this solid, sturdy green pillar, you have created a foundation that will keep your tulip standing tall and proud, regardless of how much you move it or display it. Section 2, The Art of the Leaf Cut. A copy Section 2. Section 2, The Art of the Leaf, SCULPTING Organic Movement Extended. Now we move on to the most expressive part of our tulip, the leaves. A leaf is not just a flat piece of fabric, it is the gesture of the plant. If you look at a real tulip leaf, it has a beautiful, tapering grace. It is broad at the base, it reaches a peak in the center, and it curls ever so slightly as it captures the light. We are going to build this leaf using a mix of stitch heights, single, half double, and double crochets to create a sculptural piece that mimics nature itself. Start by chaining 35 stitches. This long chain is your spine. We are going to work in rounds around this chain, essentially building the leaf layer by layer. The foundation, start by working 2 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. This is our base where the leaf will eventually attach to the stem. From here, work 4 half double crochets. The half double stitch is the transition. It's taller than a single crochet but shorter than a double, allowing us to build a gentle slope. The expansion, now we move into the belly of the leaf, the widest part. Work 20 double crochets in a row. As you work these, I want you to feel the leaf expanding in your hands. Do not rush these stitches. If your tension is too loose, the leaf will look holey. If it's too tight, it will look like a stiff plank. You want a fabric that is firm enough to hold its shape, but soft enough to have that subtle drape. The taper, after the 20 double crochets, we reverse the process to taper the leaf back to a tip. 4 half double crochets followed by 3 single crochets at the very end. When you reach that final chain, don't just turn around. Work 3 single crochets into that final loop. This acts as a hinge, allowing the fabric to turn smoothly and start coming back up the other side of your chain. Now work back up, matching your stitches exactly as you did on the way down. 3 single crochets, 4 half double crochets, and so on. The sculpting pro tip, this is where you elevate your work from basic to artisan. When you join the 2 sides at the base, don't just leave it flat, take a moment to stretch the leaf. Velvet yarn has a memory. If you pull it into a slight curve, it will hold that shape. To make this permanent, here is a secret. Take a piece of 20 gauge floral wire, which is much thinner than the stem wire, and lay it against the edge of your leaf as you work the final round of slip stitches. You are literally locking the wire inside the crochet. This creates a flexible edge. You can now bend your leaf into a beautiful C curve or a gentle wave. Why do we do this? Because in the real world, no 2 leaves are identical. One leaf might be reaching toward the sun while the other might be drooping slightly under the weight of the morning dew. By using wire, you are no longer just crocheting, you are sculpting. Spend time practicing the tension on these double crochets. If you find the leaf is too wide, next time reduce the number of double crochets. If it's too narrow, add more. Treat this as a creative exercise. You aren't just following a pattern, you are crafting a personality for your flower. Once you have 2 beautiful, perfectly shaped leaves, set them aside. They are ready to be attached to our sturdy stem. You've done the hard work of creating form, now it's time to bring it all together. Section 3, the assembly, the invisible anchor, and structural integrity extended. Now we reach the most critical moment of our project, joining the vibrant red bloom to the sturdy green stem. This is the moment of truth. Many beginners rush this step, but in the world of professional making, the assembly is where you differentiate a toy that will fall apart in a week from an heirloom piece that will last for years. We are going to build what I call an invisible anchor. We don't just want to sew these parts together, we want to fuse them. The structural joint. Hold your flower head face down. Take your perfectly stuffed, wire-reinforced stem. Position the top of the stem in the very center of the magic ring base. You should feel the stem seat itself in that little depression we created during the base making phase. Using your tapestry needle and a generous length of matching forest green yarn, do not just stitch the surface of the flower. That is the #1 cause of head droop. Instead, push your needle deep into the center of the flower head, exiting through the side of the stem, and then loop it back into the flower's base. You are essentially creating an internal lashing. I want you to perform this cross-lashing pattern at least 4 times at the 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions around the stem. This pulls the stem deep into the heart of the flower, ensuring that no matter how you pose it, the head will not wobble. Once you have that deep structural anchor, then move to the whip stitch technique around the circumference of the stem. Take small, precise bites of the red velvet and the green velvet, keeping your stitches tight and perfectly even. You are essentially creating a seamless transition, a neck for your tulip that looks organic and clean. The leaf positioning in asymmetry. Now let's talk about the leaves. Most people sew them on symmetrically, one on each side like a robot, but nature is rarely perfectly symmetrical. Think about how a plant grows. It reaches for the light. Place your first leaf about 1/3 of the way up from the base of the stem. Wrap the base of the leaf around the stem rather than just laying it flat against it. This creates a clasping effect, which is exactly how tulip leaves grow in the wild. Use a whip stitch to secure the base of the leaf, and don't be afraid to take a few stitches through the stem itself to keep the leaf from sliding down over time. Place the second leaf about 2 centimeters higher on the opposite side, but rotate it slightly. This creates a dynamic spiral visual interest. Pin them with sewing needles first, then stand back and look at your tulip from a distance of 2 meters. This is the artistic check. Does it look like it's swaying in the wind? Does it look like it's reaching toward a window? If it feels too stiff, bend the wire in your leaves until they feel awake. Sew the leaves on using tiny microscopic stitches. You want to hide the thread inside the velvet fibers so that it's completely invisible to the eye. The final polish. Once the assembly is done, take a moment to perform the massage. Velvet yarn can get a bit compressed during the sewing process. Use your thumbs to gently massage the seams, pushing the velvet fibers back into place so they cover your stitches. If you see a tiny bit of red fiber at the green stem join, just gently pick it out with the tip of your tapestry needle. It's these tiny, microscopic details that make the difference between a project that looks homemade and one that looks handcrafted. Stand back and look at your work. You've used different hooks, different stitch heights, and a combination of stuffing and structural engineering. You've balanced tension and geometry. Look at the way the light catches the velvet. It's not just a crochet project, it's a piece of sculpture. I am so incredibly proud of the patience you've shown throughout this entire process. It is a big project and you've mastered it. You've built something that has weight, character, and beauty. Thank you for letting me be your guide, and I truly hope this tulip brings a splash of color and a lot of warmth to your home. You've earned this moment, now go display your beautiful work.